everybody, it's Heather. Welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're breaking down this week's video about balance and stability, how to prevent falls, and they are not the same thing, FYI. Just in case you didn't watch this week. It was released a little bit late. I released it on Thursday instead of Wednesday. My bad. I was a day late. I hope everybody is doing well tonight. I am not feeling too hot. If you can tell, I don't look good. This is the kind of day we've had. This is my Apple Pencil. I feel like garbage. But we're going to do this because, we're here. We're here. We're going to get it done. No makeup, hair not done. I did brush my teeth today and I did shower, but that's about the extent of what we're getting from me tonight. I hope you all like this time frame. I tried to change it up a little bit. We're going to see how it works with everybody's schedules. This is going to be a relatively short one tonight. If you did not see this week's video, it was balance and stability. It's the second week in our fall prevention series. We did some exercises together. I hope you all liked them. That was my first forte into videotaping my feet. No, I'm not starting an only feet, but y'all did get to see a little glimpse of the tattoo on my foot because I was barefoot. Something you rarely see. But I hope everybody is doing well. Jeffries, good to see you. Tammy, how are you? Let's see who else is here. Heidi, as always, thank you for being super mod and supporting the channel. Oh my goodness. Y'all are great. I don't know what I would do without y'all. Who else is here? I saw more people. I'm just scrolling down. Devil Fan, how are you? Gail. Let's see. Snipe, how are you? Oh, and if you didn't catch it, our very own Snipe Hunter can paint. I call me rude, call me anything you want. I did not realize that he had that talent. I do not. So I love a good painting stream, and if you love a good painting stream, go check out his channel. It was a good day. And Paul, hey Squid, guess who slipped and ended in A&E for 6 hours today? Not my choice. Oh no. Like, oh no. Bad week for illness, 1 day late. You're doing good. Yeah, I've just felt off all week, and I don't really know what is exactly going on. Today I just feel blech. Like my head hurts. I don't want to keep my eyes open. I'm probably going to bed shortly after this stream with the rest of my family. But we are out there doing our thing. I'm having issues with my balance, but I've been told it's crystals in my ear. Yes, so there are crystals in your inner ear. They're not just crystals floating around. They're actually in the bones in your inner ear. They have the tendency to sometimes get out of whack. That is the vestibular system in action. If you've ever heard the vestibular system, that is your inner ear. That is those crystals. Hey, Faith. How are you? So sometimes they can get out of whack. My recommendation for that is to see a PT or OT. Most of the time it's a PT who is going to be vestibular trained and can do some maneuvers to put them back into put them back into sorts. Yeah, vestibular system has to do with vertigo, and it can also cause a nystagmus, which is where when you look at someone's eyes and you see their eyes just going for no reason. It's an interesting topic. Yep. Saw your neurologist and he suggested the same thing, PT. I love a good doctor that when they know something, but they don't know how to treat it. Like there are neurologists, like my neurologist can do those maneuvers in his office. I have to drive an hour and a half to see him. However, he can do those maneuvers in his office because he is trained. But I love a doctor that is like, I know this is a vestibular system. I don't know how to do those maneuvers. Instead of giving you just a medication or telling you I don't know or blowing smoke up your butt, I love a doctor who is like, I will send you to someone who is an expert in that area and knows what they're doing. That's what we all should be doing as medical professionals. Even though I'm not a doctor, I'm an occupational therapist. And here is my disclaimer. This content for my YouTube overlords to help my channel grow. I am not providing medical or legal advice. I am a coda, but I'm not your coda. If you find something interesting on here that you think that you want to discuss with your doctor, go discuss it with your providers. Say, I heard this here. I don't know if it's for me. What do you think? Uh, so I am not, I'm a coda, but I'm not your coda. So even though I'm not a huge fan of the healthcare system currently, um, I am always a proponent of discussing it with your people who know your medical situation more than me, because I can provide you with a general idea, but I am not your particular provider. So on today's agenda, we are going through kind of what we talked about in that video. Not a spoiler because I want you to actually go and watch that video, but answering your questions on the topic. Yes. And hi, Musy Lady. How are you? Hope you are feeling okay. Yes, certified occupational therapy assistant. Yes. I am still have my C, which is the certification, the national certification. I am not licensed in the state of Georgia to practice. I don't want to be. Um, I don't ever want to work in big healthcare again, but that's part of the reason that I started this channel, is using the skills that I have from my degree, my 6 years of experience in the hospital, and my other education in corrective exercise to not mm, to keep people out of the medical industrial complex if I can help it. That's why I love good. She's a smart cookie with a little bit of smart ass. Somebody told me a long time ago, it's better to be a smartass than a dumbass. But over here, you get my, you know, yes, thank you, Tammy. I share my practical knowledge with you guys and do not diagnose. But I do have some things that I want to discuss with you closer to the end of the stream, with regards to stuff I want to do on this channel, and I want your input. Oh, Musy Lady. Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh no. I'm so sorry. Oh, I wish there was something more that I could do besides just give my condolences, because that's never an easy thing. And Fletcher boy, I fractured my wrist last December, and I knew better than my doctor. In March, I had to have wrist surgery to fix the screw up I created. I follow the orthopedic surgeon's recommendations. Miracle. Yeah, and it's kind of one of those things that you have to realize that not everybody knows everything, and like it's trust but verify. Doctors are very good at some things, and sometimes they're just not good at others because they just don't have the education. And that's not a bad thing. It's just there's a reason why doctors are not the end all be all of healthcare. There's a reason that PTs, OTs, speech therapists, respiratory therapists, there's a reason that all of these other healthcare nurses, healthcare professions exist, because we are not just a one and done kind of situation. So there is the plus side. There is the plus side. I hope that everything works out for that. And hi, EMS Life, how are you? Oh, I don't provide medical advice, but I provide some things that sometimes you haven't heard before, or you might be nervous to discuss because there's some things about healthcare that are just plain embarrassing. And with this fall prevention, we're leading into the winter months. It's cold. I saw y'all discussing ice and ice melting procedures. It can be scary, but there's a lot of times that people are embarrassed to admit that they're not as strong as they once were, or they're having this pain. And sometimes you just need a friendly advice to say, it's okay, you're not alone. Talk to your doctor and figure it out. And that's kind of what I want to be here for. Not your provider, just that friend providing some practical knowledge to give you the confidence to talk to people who you need to talk to. Um, I had a great ortho surgeon that replaced the tendons in my arm. I have a full functioning, thanks to him. And a good surgeon is always my neurosurgeon. Bedside manner is lacking a little bit. However, I would rather have an amazing surgeon with a poor bedside manner than a great bedside manner and a shitty surgeon. It's my personal, yeah, completely agree. My wife tells me the same thing. I'm not as strong as I used to be. None of us are. And it's one of those situations where aging does take a toll on you, and it's okay to admit things, because when we don't, we have to meet ourselves where we are now, not where we think we should be or where we were. And that's what's hard. And that's yeah, it's this here is mental support with a big helping of correct stuff to do. Yes. And a lot of people also don't have that medical team. Like, they have a doctor, but they don't have a physical therapist or an occupational therapist, or their doctor is like, you're not low level enough for PT or OT. And that's where corrective exercise can come in. But on, hold on, let me check my messages real quick. I'm getting a message. And of course, the one time when my phone doesn't unlock right. Oh, all right. Oh, oh yeah, it's extremely hard. Um, you still have those kidney stones? They haven't passed yet? Do they have a plan for those? Are they going to try to get them to dissolve? Are they just going to let them pass on their own? Oh, so one of the things that I always, let me get this away. Let's go here. There we go. One of the things on this channel that I always recommend is, if you think some of this relates to you, I do have my link tree with resources, and I'm starting to add more handouts. I have one, but also on there generalized tips and tricks. But if you think something on here relates to you, I keep a notebook all the time around me. I write things down. So if you have a question or something you hear on this channel makes you think of a question that you want to ask at your next doctor's appointment or your next PT appointment or whatever appointment it may be, write it down, because writing things down always helps you get better treatment. And I say this because I personally witnessed this myself. I experienced it and seen it firsthand. Where I've seen it firsthand is I was discussing things with a patient that I was actively working with, and they had told me a bunch of stuff that they wanted to talk to the doctor about. Doctor comes in to see them during my treatment. Happens a lot, sometimes interrupts my treatment, whatever, it happens. But I'm standing there as the doctor is talking to them, and the doctor goes, "Do you have any questions?" And for whatever reason, the patient goes, "No, I'm good." And I looked at this patient and I was like, "Are you sure? Because we just had a 5-minute conversation about things you wanted to ask the doctor when they came in." The doctor looks at me and it was like, "Really?" And he was like, "Do cleared with the patient that I was able to discuss, with the doctor what they had talked to me about." And it was like, "Oh, she had this question and she had this question and she had this question and she had this question, or she was curious about this." When you get generally when you're unsure of things and all of a sudden you talk to the doctor and they tell you one thing, sometimes anxiety causes us to forget things. Sometimes it's we think we got the answer, but we're not really sure. Sometimes we're nervous to ask questions. Same thing happened to me. There's the things I want to ask the doctor, and then I get in front of the doctor, and all of a sudden I forget. So if you write them down, keep a pocket-sized notebook. Um, a lot of times stores, they used to sell them for like a quarter. They're probably like $3 now. Um, the notebook about the size of your hand fits in a man's pocket, fits in a purse easily. Keep a pen, write down questions anytime you have them. Take that notebook to the doctor with you. That way, no matter what, you'll always have, hey, I woke up in the middle of the night. I had insomnia and I was thinking about this. Now you don't forget. Generally, it's better healthcare. Um, Everything comes down to communication. We get better service no matter what when we communicate. Um, we get better service in a restaurant when we communicate how we want our food cooked. We get better service at the grocery store when we're polite or we ask where things are or how much things cost. You get better service, you get better healthcare when you come with questions. Because then the doctor has a better idea of where you are cognitively um, in regards to your own healthcare and how you are able to advocate for yourself. So, not medical advice, but just friendly advice from your friendly neighborhood squid about when you go to a doctor, things that might make your experience just a little bit better. Because then you walk out of a doctor's office and you either think of all the questions or you're like, the doctor didn't answer any of my questions or the doctor didn't say anything that I needed to hear. Well, sometimes it's not just on the doctor, it's on us to take control of our healthcare. Yes, it's easy to blame the doctor because, I mean, I love doing it. Sorry to any doctors who might watch this, especially when I post it on my Facebook and I have friends on there who are doctors. Um, I love you guys. You are good at what you do. However, sometimes you are so worried about patient numbers and like lab values and things that you forget that you are in front of a human who might forget things. So, oh yes, this too. Oh yes, always make sure that you talk to them about it, but you can record it. That way, when you get home and say your spouse doesn't go with you and they ask you how'd the doctor's appointment go or how'd your PT appointment go, and you can be like, "Oh, I don't remember." Sometimes it's talking to like a teenage boy because you just don't remember details. It's through no fault of your own. Um, Sometimes the doctors forget that they're speaking in anatomy and physiology language and not layperson's English. It's like speaking legalese versus, the average, what an average person would say. Um, and sometimes things can get lost in translation. So if you have it recorded and you listen to it, always get their permission. Never, never, never go into it with like and never be afraid to fire your doctor. Generally speaking, you will not be accused of doctor shopping if you stay in the same practice and you're just like, I don't want to see this particular doctor. Like my pediatrician's office. When we get appointments, I'm like, I really don't want to see that nurse practitioner. I didn't like the way she spoke to me. As a parent, she kind of implied that my daughter's too tiny. My daughter was 5 pounds when she was born. The personalities didn't mesh well. So I love the practice in general. We just don't want to see that particular provider. Sometimes that can help. My hematologist calls me an anomaly because my questions about conditions have been baffled. Yes. And you will hear doctors sometimes go, don't confuse my medical education with your Google search. Never be afraid to express to a doctor, never confuse their medical education with you living in your body for however many years you've been alive. So there's that. Yes, and if you record your visit on audio, you can look up stuff later. And this is one of those things where some doctors might be, yes, fine, record me. And some doctors might be, I don't want to be recorded. Remember, just because they don't want to be recorded doesn't mean that they're doing anything wrong. Sometimes people just don't want to be recorded. Um, Ask me how I know, like being on camera all the time. Having people that just don't want to be on camera. So you guys, I need to move. I told you my health issues. My doctors say I'm a walking wonder because I should have. Yeah, me too. Oh, oh my goodness. All right. Anybody who watched this week's video, did you have any questions or concerns about the exercises that I showed you guys, and did you actually do any of them? Because yes, and taking things out of context can get a doctor in trouble. Yes, that is true too. Taking things out of context can get anybody in trouble. Like, let's be honest here. And I'm sorry, I've got the Bears Packers game up on the other screen, so I'm a little distracted by that too. Yes. Oh, well, it's not just rude. Some practices have, and some doctors' offices and hospital systems have a uh, a policy of do not record. Um, so yeah, yeah, the production value was better, but the actual recording, I had to record that video 3 times to get it at least acceptable to where I wanted it. For some reason, getting on here and talking to you guys on a live stream, I can talk, but the minute that I start to record a video, I know people say pretend you're live, but I was switching between the game and figure skating. So, hi Christine, how are you? Welcome to the channel. Um, my balance is not great due to the issues I've helped, and I need help from my cares. And you know what? It's never a thing to compare yourself to others either when watching these videos and going, "Oh, I'm only so many years old. I should be able to do this standing." Um, you remember looking at someone, we never judge because you don't know why they are in a particular situation. You see someone in their 20s with a service animal, you don't judge. I was watching one of Charlotte's videos, old videos today, and it was an "Am I the A-hole?" and it was about a service dog. And one of the person posting was like, "This person doesn't look like they're sick." Remember, not every injury is visible, especially with balance, any neurological issues, like epilepsy, MS. A lot of the times, like you can't see lesions on the brain. You just can't. You can see the result of them, but we don't judge people based on their age. So when you guys are like, "Oh, I need to start using a cane or I need to use a walker," um, never feel like that's a bad thing. We always get in this mindset of like, "Oh, I'm only 40 years old. I shouldn't need to use a cane." You need to do whatever you need to do to stay safe. And never let anyone ever tell you that um, you're too young to use a device or a piece of equipment to help you stay safe. Never let someone else's ego or impressions of what you should be doing um, stop you from being safe. Because generally, that's when a lot of falls happen too. Is we don't we get in our head of I should be able to do this or I should be able to do that. Think about a 30-year-old in the gym versus a 20-year-old. What they could do when they're 20, they probably can't do when they're 30. But they try. They try to put the same weight on a bench press, and that's when they injure themselves. And now they just set themselves back. So never let your what you think you should be doing, and I know that's hard. I know that's hard, y'all. I know it's hard. Get in the way. So, you know, 30 years of judo means not a fall. 20 years of figure skating and 2 or 3 years of jiu-jitsu. I know how to fall. I just don't like to. Um, Square, that's my exact issue. It's something that I was able to do, and I believe I can still do it, but my body just won't let me. Yeah, and there's a brain-body disconnect, and you're not alone. And that's part of what this channel is for, is letting people know that that is not a male thing, that is not a female thing, that is not an age thing. It's an everybody thing. It's an everybody thing. Hey, Tammy. I've been doing the counter push-ups you did last week. I can do regular ones, but my RA flares in my wrist to help work. It helps work through it. Yeah, and you can change the angle on your wrist too. Like you can even, like I did the ones. So say this is my countertop. I did here. If you have a surface that's non-slip, or make sure it's dry, like it's not the surface of your like your stove, it's slippery, or it's not your sink, you can actually put your hands on top completely flat on the counter if that makes it easier. There's all kinds of things. You can even do wall push-ups, and that might be a little easier on people's wrists. Or if the counter is too low for you, wall push-ups are another good angle or another good option. And if those get too easy, just start stepping your feet farther away and increase that angle. So you start here, and then you go here, and then you go down to a box or a lower chair. As long as you have a steady surface and that surface is not going to move on you, it's another good option is like the trunk of a car, or the hood of a car. If you have a stable surface, you can kind of modify that to do it anywhere. So speaking of that, I do have I'm hopefully going to be recording them tomorrow, batch recording them so I can drop one a week. I have a list of 60 or 70 exercises that I want to do. So we have content for a year as far as that goes. But I'm going to do a system where I have 3 exercises, like the counter push-ups. Some will use just your body weight, and some will use things around the house, like bicep curls. You don't need to go out and get fancy weights. You can grab this, anything you got around the house. Sometimes the range of motion is what you need more than the strengthening, because if you can only move to here, it doesn't matter if you can lift 50 pounds for a bicep curl. If you can only go half the range of motion, I would like you to be able to go completely in that whole range of motion if your body will allow you. So, you just start where you're at. But every 4th one, so basically one a month, will be modifications of a certain exercise, like a squat. I will show like a version of a squat, like a normal just body weight squat. And then if you have knee or hip pain and can't get to depth, how to do it, having a chair behind you. So every 4th one will be a modification of an exercise. So if you want to do squats, but you can't do squats, or you're scared to do squats, different versions of how to do them. So they're for everybody. Because remember, corrective exercise is like an extension, in my opinion, is an extension of OT. OT is designed to help you modify things to meet you where you're at. Corrective exercise will help you get those movement patterns back to normal. So when you're just not low enough level for therapy. But I also did have an idea that I've been working on. I have to figure out how I'm going to get all the stuff, because it is rather expensive if I can't get companies to sponsor me, which is a whole nother thing in itself. However, I know a lot of you can't do certain things, or because you either don't feel safe or you just don't have the grip strength, like cooking. A lot of people can't open jars or can't cook anymore like they used to because they can't hold a vegetable peeler and peel. So I'm going to test out a bunch of gadgets, from getting dressed, like sock aids and things like that, to adaptive utensils in the kitchen and stuff like that. And I'm going to give them my rating and see which ones work and which ones are worth the hype and maybe worth the money, and things that you can go, oh, that looks really cool, it might help me, but are kind of worthless. Because not everything that you see on Amazon is going to be helpful. So it's like if you're going to, and if you have to spend money on things, we're going to try to figure out where to spend your money that's worth it and where not to. So, but guys, I hate to cut this one extremely short, but I have to go. I am just not feeling really, really well tonight. Um, and the game is tied at 21, which is not helping my cause. But I have to get going. I am not feeling too well. I'm kind of feeling a little nauseous right now. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I am recording some videos tomorrow, and on my other channel, 2 p.m., we have a new case, an international PDF file ring. So we are going to get into that this week. And yes, thanks Heidi for sharing my link tree. I appreciate you guys so much. And I do have to get going. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Just a quick one today. Um, Join me next week though, because this week's video will be cognition and falls. What cognition is, why cognition is very important in fall prevention. It's not just your strength, it's your brain. And things that you can do from not only exercises to everyday things with um, household items that you have already, like a deck of cards. So y'all have a great night, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.